right, should we get started, Imam?
Yes, sir. Bismillah.
All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I want to welcome you. I know we all missed our gatherings together. We thought we wanted today to have a virtual gathering, the best we can do, alhamdulillah. We want to share some things that are happening in our community. Of course, a lot of work is continuing to happen, and wanted to touch base with everybody. And also we want to hear from you guys, your thoughts and your ideas as well. So this is our opportunity here. On the screen is the agenda for today. What we'd like to give a quick overview of the status of the project Vision 99. Talk a little bit about an upcoming survey that we would love for everybody to participate in. And then Imam maybe will help us out on giving everybody an idea on what programming we have scheduled, virtual programming. A lot of the programming, like I mentioned, is still happening. Inshallah, we're doing our best so that we can continue to, to build on our connections, continue our spiritual connections, our social connections as a community. So a lot of the programming is happening before and during Ramadan. We'll talk about that, and then we'll share some thoughts about things to do to continue to be engaged and to keep healthy and safe during this unusual time for us. And then we'll open it up, inshallah, for questions and answers. So I'll get started with the review of the status of Vision 99. As many of you may have seen on the email, alhamdulillah, we have had a lot, the due diligence period was expiring last week, and the leadership of the Masjid had a lot of consultation, and we had a lot of discussion about it. We've done a lot of the due diligence work. And in the last minute, we actually came to the decision that it is best to let go of the contract that we were under for the property that was identified. The major reason for that is we thought because of the because of the health crisis that we're in, the economic conditions are changing and are changing very quickly and drastically. So it would be a big risk for us to continue to be engaged and commit and to stay with our original contract, which was pretty valuable, very high value, about $4.5 million we were committing to coming up with to close. So we wanted to make sure we have an opportunity to take advantage of maybe of a changing market in the future. In addition to that, we also are realizing that the economic conditions for all of us as individuals are changing over time, and we didn't want to take such a huge commitment during such time of change where we need to be focusing on maybe helping each other out as a community first before we take on the major commitment. So inshallah, the project is being suspended right now, the particular property. However, the overall vision of what Vision 99 is all about continues. So the search committee that was in charge of looking for a property is going to reevaluate all the options and look at opportunities and keep an eye on the property values that in the market, what's going on, so that if there is another opportunity that is reasonable, we can still jump on it. There's still a possibility also that that same property we were eyeing to come back on the market for us to have a different shot at it at a different value. So again, the project is, in concept is still going on. We have moved from the property that we were considering. Our options are open. Our board and the whole leadership team is considering all the options. we're still committed to providing and finding the appropriate facility for the future to make sure it's accommodating us in addition to the future generations, and making sure that they have a place they can call home in North Fulton. That's it on Vision 99. As far as upcoming survey, so part of what we learned from our Vision 99 and our exercise in trying to bid for a property, we are realizing that we need a lot more data about what our community is and what our needs are. So inshallah, we are planning to send out a big major survey to all community members. We would love for every single family to participate and give us your feedback, your information. And the reason for the survey is we want to, as we scale up and as we grow and as we introduce more programs, we want to make sure we are serving our community in the best way we can. We want to understand what our community is, what is our makeup, how many people we have in each age group, what interests do we have, where do we live, what's the proximity, if we have activities off-site or on-site, what are the proximity, how frequently you use the services of the masjid, or you could be using future services that we're currently not operating. So for us to design programming even better and to improve on our level of service that we do, it's really important for as many people as possible in the community to complete the survey and give us the information so that we can develop and grow and develop better programming, inshallah, in the future. So that is the goal. So look for the survey, inshallah, in about 2 weeks to come in the email. Inshallah, it's something maybe that take 20 minutes, maybe from family members. Please give us as accurate information as possible. Again, it's all to be used for the purpose of serving you all better and serving our community better and keeping our programming to the level that really satisfy your needs. All right, Imam, any comments on the couple of things that I mentioned so far?
No, alhamdulillah. Just just a reminder that again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge, and we put in the process, we put in the effort. But if this isn't panning out for us right now, then alhamdulillah, we say alhamdulillah, because that is what Allah has decided for us, and inshallah, He has something much better in store for us in our future.
Inshallah. All right. So with that, let's jump into the virtual programming. Like I mentioned, it is unfortunate that in our facility we had to close it, we had to comply, and we have to do the social distancing, and we have to do what's best for our community at large, as well as our own Muslim community, to protect each other and to follow the guidelines of our health officials. That doesn't mean that our programming is going to shut down. So alhamdulillah, we've been having, we've been busy with virtual programming. We're trying to ramp up our capacity in doing that. MashaAllah, the Imam and Sada Fatima didn't skip a beat. Actually, if anything, they increased their sessions, online sessions. So and even the weekend school has been meeting over online means, trying to continue their learning and programming. So in that sense, we are going to continue, inshallah, our activities that we had planned and we have on the calendar for the coming weeks. So I'll let the Imam, inshallah, maybe share with us what's coming up over the next 2 or 3 weeks between now and Ramadan, and also what we have for Ramadan programming, inshallah.
All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So alhamdulillah, starting tomorrow, the Sunday sessions we've been doing at 11:30 a.m. We're going to turn the next couple of sessions that are just coming up this month into Ramadan fiqh sessions, inshallah. So we're going to go over the basic fiqh of Ramadan, and inshallah we'll be collecting questions from the community as well. So maybe this Sunday can be just kind of a review of the basic fiqh of Ramadan, and inshallah next Sunday we can be focus on a lot of Q&A, making sure we're getting people's questions answered as we're preparing for the month to come upon us. Following these two sessions, the next week after, so the third week, inshallah, the third weekend, the 18th of April, we will have our regularly scheduled or already scheduled pre-Ramadan workshop. Now, this was scheduled to be a day-long, 4 to 5 hour event with Sheikh Yasir Burjas and other members of our community to be helping our community prepare, but we're going to trim it down into a 2-hour workshop, inshallah. Keep it virtual, keep it online. We're still going to have, inshallah, Sheikh Yasir Burjas join us. We're going to have Ustadha Fatima Let join us. We will have Sister Yaqutullah join us as a nutritionist, and inshallah we're going to have, we're hoping to have Dr. Asim Kidwai, our physician, on online as well for a short panel. It'll be 2 hours, inshallah, so it'll be geared towards reminders from our religious staff, inshallah, and then advice from our medical and nutrition volunteers in our community. And we're going to have ample time, inshallah, for them to field your questions as well. But we're going to focus on the fiqh of Ramadan, like I said before, so we don't have to have a 4-hour session, because I know it's difficult to sit for 4 hours online at home with your kids probably climbing all over your shoulders. But inshallah, we'll still have that session to be spiritually rejuvenated right before the month of Ramadan is going to come upon us. So that's going to happen before Ramadan. Now, during Ramadan, and inshallah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills and lifts this trial from us, then we're going to go forward with our regularly scheduled programming, inshallah. But we're not going to change or deviate too much from our on-site programming, obviously besides Salatul Taraweeh. But the Suhbah series is the most regular programming that we have besides the Taraweeh prayer. But before I even go there, I just want to give everybody a heads up. So this Ramadan, as you know, we always theme our Ramadans at RCM. And the theme for this Ramadan is Ramadan Serve. And we are using a hadith that our Prophet ﷺ, when he validated the saying of his companion Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu, when he was advising another companion about balancing his religious practice. And he told him, radiallahu anhu, he said that, your Lord has a right over you, your own soul has a right over you, and your family has a right over you. So give each one their due right. And this is going to be the hadith that we're basing our theme for this Ramadan off of, inshallah, learning how to be balanced individuals, learning how to give, fulfill these rights, the rights of Allah, the rights of our families, and the rights that we have on ourselves. And inshallah, we're going to add on that the rights that we have for our community. How do we as a community help each other do that? So if you know anything about Suhbah series, we'll devote one weekend to each topic. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to have the Suhbah series. If we can't do it in the Masjid, then we'll still go virtual with them. And all the times will be announced soon, inshallah. So first weekend, we'll focus on the rights of Allah. The second weekend, we'll focus on the rights of our family. And the third, we'll focus on the rights of our own selves. And then, inshallah, the fourth weekend, we'll talk about how we work on this as a community, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So those are going to happen either virtually or on site. You have members of your religious affairs committee that will be leading that. So myself, Dr. Shela Altaf, will also be joined by Hafiz Ahmad Ali, inshallah, Sheikh Hassan Fayan, Brother Zubair will also be pitching in as speakers for these weekend sessions that we'll have. Now, realizing that we may not have Salatul Taraweeh, which is the daily dose of our major spiritual input in the month of Ramadan, we're going to try and make sure that we have some kind of daily programming throughout the month that will be available for people virtually, inshallah ta'ala. So that means, having members of our religious affairs teams, preparing short reminders that can be, as a family you can listen to daily, inshallah, still engaging our huffaz that would have led our Taraweeh to bring you Quran in your homes, inshallah ta'ala. Also leveraging members of our community to help other people with their recitation of the Quran, being able to sign up for some possible online sessions where you can work on your recitation. For brothers and sisters, inshallah ta'ala, we have a lot of very, very qualified people to help with that. And as always, the last 10 nights of Ramadan are incredibly special. And so we will try our best to make sure that we can secure some kind of online resource, some kind of virtual messaging, maybe a shared recitation of the Quran to kind of help people get through those last 10 nights as well. Again, all of this, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, the way things are, if they continue, inshallah. Besides that, we really want to make sure that you guys give us your input. So make sure you comment. You can ask your questions and give your suggestions in the chat that's happening on the YouTube live stream right here as well. You can always email info@Roswell Masjid, imam@Roswell Masjid, director at Roswell Masjid, operations at Roswell Masjid. You can get those emails off our website. So please keep your suggestions and ideas coming, and we would love to get more people involved to make sure that we are engaging folks in this month, inshallah ta'ala, as much as we possibly can.
All right. Jazakallah khair, Imam. It's really an exciting time of the year, and we hope it's not, the condition that we're in and the test that Allah has subhanahu wa ta'ala has put on us will only encourage us to be even more focused spiritually and more determined, inshallah, to keep our connection as a community and our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to be of service to ourselves, our community, our family, and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during this month. We're already approaching, halfway through Sha'ban, and Ramadan is sneaking up on us really quick as we got busy, with our new norms. And wanted to take some time maybe and discuss, the fact that, number one, like the Imam mentioned, our programming is ongoing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only knows if it's going to be all virtual or part of it. Ramadan is going to be virtual or it's all going to be in person. But either way, inshallah, we will be ready. We are looking forward to connecting with you all during that month and connecting with each other and continuing to serve and continuing to help each other out. We're also, inshallah, in the next couple of weeks before Ramadan, by the time we have the pre-Ramadan workshop, we're going to publish a little booklet basically that gives you all the programming and the different things that are going to be offered online, all of the things that the Imam mentioned. So we're going to have duplicate programming, if you will. We're going to publish and send to all of you online, which are going to show, this is what's going to happen if we are able to serve in person in the masjid, and this is what's going to happen if we continue to stay virtual for the period of Ramadan. So we'll have all the programs and the Sakiya and all other information, inshallah, that's relevant for the month. So it will help us out to have, for all of us as a community to have a roadmap and to stay focused spiritually and to take advantage of Ramadan as much as we possibly can. May Allah, allow us to reach the month of Ramadan. That's really the important part. So other things that are happening, in addition to what RTM is offering, I encourage all of you to, there are many scholars around the country that are offering a lot of online resources. A lot of things are happening. Yaqeen Institute is offering some things. Different shuyukh around the country are offering webinars. So, I encourage all of you to get as much as you can to stay connected and to keep the family connected with these resources and take advantage of these resources. There is a lot of really good, high quality things happening online. It's Allah's will that we ended up really doing almost everything online, from our professional work to our work with the community. So, there's nothing wrong in taking advantage of it and making the best out of it, inshallah. So with that, inshallah, we'll jump to item number 4. What are the kind of things that we can do? We're going through a time that is very unusual, and different people are able to cope with it differently. And we all need to help each other out and share some ideas and some some things that we are doing to help us go through this test and go through this unusual period, and come out of it stronger and better, inshallah. So, we're all realizing that, there is, I'm personally realizing there is a need to purposely stay physically fit and to get up and do things physically, around the neighborhood, around the house, and do things, that are, normally at least match your physical activity fitness level when we were, able to leave the house, and we were able to do things, and we were able to climb stairs and walk around and go places and all that. So at the very least, we need to make sure we're doing things to keep our level of activity up. And I know RCM has offered a couple of sessions already on the importance of physical fitness, and maybe, inserting some routines about what to do and simple things we can do at home to keep our energy level up. It's all tied to, our physical health, our spiritual health, and our mental health are all tied together, and it's really important to be very mindful and purposeful in doing that for ourselves and our family and our kids, and continue to be active. It's very easy to get, to sit down and try and follow the news and always, so my personal advice is, please keep physically active as much as you can, and engage in some strenuous activity in every day, even if it is for 10-15 minutes. And also, do not listen to the news all the time. Set yourself maybe a time to catch up, because honestly, that is a level of stress. That is something, a source of, that can impact our health as much as it does impact our mental health. So, of course, listen to the news, follow the updates, but, set yourself limits and time on when to do that. Allahu Alam. Imam, do you have any thoughts on other pieces of advice to help us go through this period?
Yeah, so subhanAllah, I think one of the things you're mentioning is it's extremely important. So if you guys check out our Facebook, you'll see, scroll down some of the videos, you'll see a short workout challenge that Brother Muhammad Atif from our community shared with us. And I believe I challenged you, Brother Maher, to do it. I'm not sure if you're doing it. I haven't done that particular one, but I've been doing something, alhamdulillah. But it's a great routine just to get kind of, get something moving, get your kids involved, get the whole family involved into, just some kind of challenges. You guys have seen the push-up challenges on Instagram. So alhamdulillah, people are coming up with ways to kind of stay physically active, because there is a lot of physical downtime that we have. Just the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-mu'min al-qawi khairun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if. On a regular basis, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam reminded us that, those believers that work on their physical strength are more beloved to Allah, because then they can produce more, those that are capable of doing so. So it's important, I think a good reminder, and I hope, inshallah, our doctors that join us for our Ramadan workshop will be able to guide us this way as well. But having a physical outlet is very important to our mentality and our mental stability, especially in this time where we're just consumed with news, and then consumed with things, trying to figure out what to do with all the people at home, or with all the time that we might have, those of us that have the time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also bless our ER doctors, our physicians, mashallah, because we know many in our community don't have this time because they are on the front lines, dealing with a lot of patients and all this. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them. But for those of us that aren't, that should be doing our part by just staying home, it's very important to be physically active. There's tons of resources online you can research now as well. One thing I will mention for spiritual care is, remember, your RCM staff is still available, and we're still working, and we're still here for you guys. So you can always shoot out an email to myself imam@roswellmasjid.org. You can also email Ustada Fatima, ustada@roswellmasjid.org. Connect with us through Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is you need to connect with us, or however it is you need to connect with us. But we are, we've been scheduling appointments, making sure we're talking to people, meeting with them, still working on issues, questions that people have. Alhamdulillah, this is still ongoing. So don't worry about, should you reach out or should you not. The default is you should reach out, and we are still here and available for you guys. If you have any questions about, what's going to be happening in Ramadan, again, like I said, if you have any particular questions that you would like answered on the fiqh of Ramadan, you can go ahead and email those to me ahead of time. Inshallah, we would love to get started on that. But know that, if you do have any concerns spiritually, inshallah, you can always reach out to us. Our mental health professionals, by the way, are also engaged in tele-mental health, right? So you have the telehealth that's happening with your physicians. You have tele-mental health that is taking place with our counselors, our therapists. And so people are still available. Those resources are still, we can still provide you guys those resources. So if there is a need, do reach out, inshallah. And we're going to do our absolute best to provide you with those resources.
Thank you, Imam. Really good advice. Jazakallah khair. Really want to remind myself and others as well that please, if you haven't already, please do make sure you are complying with the staying at home guidelines that we have from our officials. This is really important, and it's not only important for our own individual health, but it's important for the communal health, the society health, because as we all know, this is a virus that can be carried by people who may or may not be sick. So we don't want to be the means that is carrying illness to others, even if we're not personally affected. So it is a responsibility for us to have full compliance, to encourage your friends, your family, your community, your neighborhood to continue to comply, so that inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will lift this test from us, and we're allowed to go back to our normal. I know all of us miss the gatherings, all of us miss being in the masjid, all of us miss listening to the adhan, all of us miss listening, seeing each other, and connecting, and inshallah the better we comply with these guidelines and regulations, inshallah the sooner we will be able to go back to our normal lives. So I encourage everybody to please do comply, encourage others to comply. Don't take a lot of trips to the store. If you can do with ordering stuff instead of going to stores, please do. Do some physical activity around the house, in the backyard, in the neighborhood, walk around, do things, with the family. Take the time to dig into exploring things that are close by, and taking the benefit of getting closer to some things that we normally in our busy lives we never get a chance to. So inshallah we can turn this into an opportunity for all of us to do better, but also to show our being responsible to serve our community by complying with the guidelines. All right. With that, I don't have anything else, Imam. If you don't have anything else, we can turn to questions and answers. Are you able to see any questions? Anybody has some questions, please go ahead and submit them so we can respond. And like the Imam said, if we don't get to address all questions in this session, please feel free to email us anytime, message us. You all know our email addresses. My email address is director@roswellmasjid.org. The Imam is imam@roswellmasjid.org. And the Ustada is available as well. Our operation team is available. So everybody has been, continues to work and trying to find ways to serve and help in every way possible. And that's our responsibility. And we want to continue to be of service to the community at this difficult time. So please feel free to reach out to us.
While we're just waiting, I can see the chat on YouTube. So inshallah, while we wait for it, to see if you have any questions, inshallah. Also, another reminder we want to give is really quickly is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, "إن الرفق لا يكون في شيء إلا زانه ولا ينزع من شيء إلا شانه." Just an advice when we're dealing with our families and we're around each other more often, and we might be getting a little bit more frustrated, a little bit more annoyed. These things tend to happen. The Prophet ﷺ told us, reminded us that rifq, gentleness, is not found in anything except that it makes it more beautiful, and it is not removed from something except that it makes it more disgraceful. And so we want to just kind of remind ourselves, we might be getting a little bit more frustrated, our emotions might be a little bit higher, we have more opportunities to quarrel with our spouses and our kids because we're just around them so much more. So just keep that in mind, inshallah, as we are going about our day, reminding ourselves, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to focus on as much gentleness as we can. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us take care of our frustrations. I don't see any questions as of now. I think we're doing a phenomenal job, Brother Maher. I think they love us the way we are.
I guess so. Yeah, again, in summary, obviously the Vision 99 is ongoing. We are looking at different property right now, different properties or different options. The Ramadan and programming and pre-Ramadan workshop is on for the 18th. We have some workshops also for the fiqh of Siyam coming up tomorrow and the following Sunday. And so, and we're going to send out the survey. Inshallah, we hope that everybody can respond to it and help us collect data about our community so we can serve better. And let's see, and the Ramadan programming, we're planning both ways to have it on site and virtually. So Allah knows how much of Ramadan we're able to do on site in person. But even if we don't, inshallah, we're planning to have many opportunities and programs for all of us to benefit from this special month and take advantage of it as much as possible.
So we have one question from Brother Adnan Budair that says, do we have the Ramadan logo ready? I don't know if we have a logo for Ramadan. Huh?
I don't know if we have a logo, but we did have plans to have new volunteer T-shirts for the volunteers who were being gonna serve in Ramadan with the but obviously that's on hold right now to see if it's gonna happen in person. But we will have the booklet that has the program for all of Ramadan available,
inshallah. And we did have some service project lined up for our community to get involved in, and we're going to be trying to see if we can still engage in certain service projects as safely as we can and maybe take limited numbers of people. But inshallah, please do stay tuned and wait for that booklet, because it'll still have the information on what kind of service opportunities we have, because it's very important for us in Ramadan that we give of our time, of our money, of our skills, and we contribute that, inshallah, to get as much ajr as we can in this month. So keep an eye out for those as well.
Inshallah. And just reminder that we do have a theme for Ramadan, and the theme is Ramadan Serve, and that's all about service to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the community, and to self.
All right, don't see any other questions.
Right.
Oh, we got one. Here we go. Will or can any of the Ramadan's virtual events involve participation from among members, or just one-way streamed events? We will miss interactions with people after Taraweeh. That's a great idea, subhanAllah. So, and the Suhba series that we do usually is interactive, because it's kind of depends on the speaker and getting interaction from our families that are there. The family qiyam that we do every Ramadan is catered around getting people involved in the gathering. And so we're still going to try to hopefully look for ways to have the interaction. And I'm actually glad you asked the question. There was one more thing I think I forgot to mention that one of our hufaz brought up, and that was communal dua. So one of the things we'll be planning, inshallah, is if we're going to have to be virtual, at least once every 10 nights, we're going to try and get our community together with one of our hufaz for a communal dua, inshallah. So we will be making dua, having our community share with those amins in that dua. And we've actually toyed with the idea of having a virtual iftar. Once we can figure out how to make that not so chaotic and see kind of how that might work, we might actually be, having people log in and, just sharing their iftar table with other people. So we'll see how that works out, inshallah ta'ala. But the Suhba series events that we'll do, they should be live, and there should at least be some participation with ability to ask questions and engage with the speaker while those are happening. So we're going to try to make the best of what we have. If you have any ideas, like I said, just please send us an email, and we might put you responsible for it. But inshallah, we want as many ideas as we can have going.
Inshallah. Yes, absolutely. I agree. And this is really a good idea. We are obviously learning a lot in terms of streaming versus doing Zoom events maybe. So maybe we can figure out a way to have maybe smaller focused groups that can have a little bit more interaction and a little bit more of a two-way conversation rather than just streaming. Really good question. So inshallah, here we go. Virtual biryani, Brother Ahmed.
We also will we have virtual tarawih? So that's going to depend. I don't think we're going to have virtual tarawih, but one of the things I want to share, especially in our Sunday sessions, are how you can have your own tarawih, inshallah, at home. So we'll talk about that in our Sunday sessions. If not tomorrow, then the one that comes next week. But that's an option that you guys now have as a family to kind of have these special moments at home with a family tarawih. And we'll explain, inshallah, how you can possibly do that. But again, like we said, we do want to engage our hufad in sharing daily recitations of Quran with our community. So that's something we're going to look forward to put together, inshallah, for you guys. And virtual biryani, as far as that goes, you can watch me eat biryani, Brother Ahmed, inshallah.
Here we go. We can share recipes at least. Inshallah. So yeah, we need all the creative ideas to keep coming. Feel free to share with us, and we're doing everything we can to make sure the programming is as robust as it can be, considering the circumstances. Inshallah.
And Sister Faryal just commented that she's had an inquiry from the interfaith community to participate in a virtual iftar. Alhamdulillah, it's beautiful. We always have our interfaith engagements that go on even in Ramadan. So yeah, please definitely connect with me on that. Would love to follow up with you and see how we can make that a possibility, inshallah.
Right. I'm not seeing any more questions. I do appreciate everybody's time and joining us today. I do encourage you to, as you all know, RCM has always been about keeping the transparency, keeping everything available to you, and being open to your ideas. I see a question about a kids' arts competition. Actually, we're looking at several forms of competition that can be done online. So inshallah, we will definitely explore that and come up, inshallah, with something that can be available not only to kids, but also to adults as well, to participate and interact and compete maybe on some fun and good things to do during the month of Ramadan. So we appreciate your time. And inshallah, if you think of something else, feel free to email either one of us. We will definitely do our best to help integrate things and put as much as possible in our virtual programming. We want all of us to be to come out of this again positive, encouraged. We learned a lot about ourselves and this process. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to reach the month of Ramadan in good health and good spirit, and allow us to take advantage of it in the best way possible. Imam, if you want to close the session, inshallah, with dua for us.
إن شاء الله. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Ya Allah, we ask you to remove this trial from us, Ya Rabbal Alameen. We seek your protection from loss of your blessings, from a change of good to bad in our well-being, from being overtaken suddenly by your punishment, and from all forms of your displeasure, Ya Rabbal Alameen. And we ask you that you bless us all with this blessed month of Ramadan, that you bring us to it, that you take us through it, inshallah, and that you allow us to make the absolute most of it that we can, and bring back our community together stronger than it was ever before. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.
Ameen. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.